Okay, so here we are in the Mahindra Thar. Unfortunately, as you may realize, we have dubbed our voices, Ashrak, because we had a bit of a technical difficulty.
Quite, yes, a disappointment in the sense that you can see those little mics we're wearing. Well, for some reason, they didn't play nice today, did they?
They didn't, but they've been good to us. It's just that we need to learn and grow, I guess, and that's exactly what we're doing, and nothing's going to stop us.
Exactly. I mean, we are recording this much later than the video was shot, so that's our commitment to this channel.
Yeah.
So, talking about the Thar, Mahen, I mean, I think it's a very understated and a vehicle that doesn't get the love and the recognition that it deserves. What do you think?
That is true, Ashrak, in terms of practicality, affordability, looks, and many other things. Ashrak, I think there's not many in the country. In fact, this is the only one that you find in the country, the 2010 to 2.2 diesel version. And it's a shame that Sri Lanka didn't, bring more of these vehicles, which the general public could have really, bought at a decent rate.
That is
enjoyed the off-road capabilities.
That is true. I mean, I think it's mainly down to several factors. One is, of course, that it's a manual transmission. You know, in Sri Lanka, people love automatics.
Correct.
Interestingly, Mahen, in India, it's the opposite. The manual is still, in 2024, is still very much in demand in India by gents as well as ladies.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I did not know that stat.
That is quite interesting.
Wow.
And I think the other factor also is the fact that it's an Indian vehicle. I mean, up to recently, people have had a very, a rather looking down on view of Indian vehicles.
Agreed. And Ashraf, to your point now, this is the manual and I drove it. You said that the clutch felt a little hard, but I honestly didn't feel it because I drive another Indian assembled Renault Kwid and it felt like that it didn't feel any different, to be honest with you, Ashrak. It was really nice, and the drive was amazing, to be honest, Ashrak. You would have seen the smile on my face. I mean, you'll see that eventually on this video as well. When I took the wheel and I drove it, I never expected it to drive the way it did.
It's quite nice, isn't it? It does catch you by the scruff of your neck a bit and surprise you a bit, doesn't it? Especially the shove from that engine once the turbo gets into its thing.
Correct.
Because it is a turbocharged engine and it's fairly happy to rev, surprisingly, from a turbocharged diesel engine of an Indian origin vehicle.
Honestly, until you drive it, you will not realize that it's actually quite a nice, capable and comfortable car to drive, Ashrak. It's basically similar to the kind of sentiment I had towards the Renault Kwid as soon as it was kind of promoted in Sri Lanka. I also had my doubts about the car, but the moment I went and saw it in person and I drove it, I was like, wow, this is such a good deal.
See, I think the thing is that's also because the Mahindra brand in general has historically been associated with commercial and agricultural vehicles. In India, I know they fought hard to break that stigma and they succeeded. I mean, now Mahindras are right up there with all the premier Indian manufacturers of passenger vehicles. But in Sri Lanka, I think we never really got to sample the brand's passenger vehicles that much because most of what we saw were things like the Mahindra Maximo truck, the Bolero, those kind of vehicles. So, I mean, on that note, Mahin, props to Sheran Fernando, the owner of this vehicle, for buying this and appreciating it for what it is, because I mean we saw Sheran's garage. He's the last person you'd expect to be driving a Mahindra Thar. I mean, given the other cars that in his garage.
I agree. And what Sheran told us the other day really stuck in my head, Ashraf. He said that, you'd rather have something practical and reliable as your daily, and you will end up saving money for the things that you really want to get in the future.
Well, I think he's lived that to a T, given that all his other cars are purely lust and desire machines, and then you have this, which he told us he drives to his estates several times a month, and I was surprised when he told us that this sits at 100 plus on the highway very comfortably.
Yes, more than 100 actually.
Yeah, I don't think we want to mention the figure for the record, but I mean, we took it up to about 80, 90, and even then it was extremely planted, Mahin.
Yes, and another thing to note is the AC, right, Ashraf?
Oh my word, that AC. I mean, Indians can do air conditioning, man.
Yeah, that
They
is
should be
true.
made the undisputed kings of vehicular air conditioning because there is no vehicle with a better air conditioner that I've gotten into than an Indian vehicle.
Oh, really?
Yes, that is true. I mean, I'm going to say it out loud, but many
Yes.
of the European vehicles, I'm not going to mention names here obviously, but
Yeah.
many of the European vehicles I've tested over my career have never been able to come close to the air conditioning powers of an Indian.
Fair enough, fair enough.
I think the Japanese come close, but
Mm.
I mean, you go in, say for example, a beat up Maruti Suzuki Alto,
Yeah.
Uber or Pick Me taxi,
Yeah.
and you get in that thing and you're chilled, you're frozen.
Yeah.
I mean, the car may look like it's going to fall apart, but you're still going to fall apart comfortably.
Good one there, Ashok. I mean, now this vehicle is special. I mean, it felt very comfortable being in there. I think Chiran has done some aftermarket upgrades on the interior. I think
Yes.
this Nalin Velgama kind of initiated a few of those as well when we discussed about the dashboard,
That is
etc.,
true,
the
yes.
trim and all that. But yeah, it was a really nice drive, Ashok. I know you felt a little bit of lightness in the steering. Maybe I was being a little too biased, but I didn't feel that as much. But Ashok, maybe we want to tell our viewers about how you felt driving the Thar on
Well,
Colombo roads.
One thing very imposing, the amount of respect you get from others is immense, probably because, like I said, that Indian stigma, they think this is like another agricultural vehicle. I'm probably some delivery
Yeah.
guy who's just gonna not bothered, but he's just gonna ram me out of my
Yeah.
way if he don't move apart. So they
Yeah.
move apart from me,
Yeah.
sorry, move aside from me.
Yeah.
But inside the cabin, it's very easy to drive, Mahen. That
Yes.
lightness of the steering
Yes.
makes it really incredibly easy to maneuver the vehicle. And the
Correct.
brakes, once again, you would have noticed that I was over braking the first few
Mm.
times because I never expected a vehicle like this
Yeah,
to have
it's
such positive,
stopping,
grabby brakes.
Correct.
You know, and then we've got this lovely touchscreen setup inside here,
Yes.
which fulfills all your infotainment needs.
Yes. Correct, and actually there's a lot of space as well, Ashok. We have opposing bench seats in the back. I mean, could easily fit how many people in the back, Ashok?
I think 6, in the sense 4 average size
Yeah.
adults in the back, and of course 2 driving and passenger up front. So
Yeah.
we're talking about 6 people comfortably. You could cram more, of course.
Yes, for sure, and it's very practical vehicle. And as you mentioned, Chiran drives it back and forth between his estates as well. He does a lot of kilometers on this vehicle, and it's again a shame that we don't have many of these. I mean, this is the only vehicle of this model in the country.
It is, and thanks to the import ban we are having, it looks like it may well be the only vehicle. I mean,
Yes.
I don't know. I would appeal to maybe ideal Mahindra to consider assembling it here. I know on a commercial case, it's probably like not going to make financial sense at all because even though there is a new Thar, Mahindra,
Yes, there
a new
is.
Thar
That
in
looks
India.
quite nice as
Looks
well.
quite nice,
Yeah.
available in petrol and diesel forms,
Yeah.
and I think it's in an auto transmission variant as well.
I think so. As
Chiran
well,
has
yes.
driven that in India,
Oh right, nice.
and he really enjoyed it. But for now, I mean, I think we can say, Mahen, this is rarer than a Ferrari in Sri Lanka.
Yes, that is true. That is true. So another point that I wanted to bring up was that Ashok, now Mahindra used to produce the Jeep CJ series since the 1940s, and so you will see some of that design language written here in this vehicle's styling and mechanical aspects as well.
Yes, and that's a very important point to note because they've been building Jeep CJs since World War II time basically.
Yes.
And of course, a lot of the expertise and a lot of the learnings from that went into vehicles like this as well.
Yeah.
And that leads us to another interesting point, Mahen, that Mahindra can't actually sell this vehicle in several Western countries and the United States. Yeah, because Jeep naturally kicks up a fuss saying that the frontal design, you know, the grill with bar style flanked by 2 circular headlamps and that kind of thing is too close to the Jeep Wrangler and those models. But Mahindra doesn't really need to sell this anywhere else because it sells by the bucket load in India.
Definitely, and I think the new Thar, the new design, is going to be a super hit in India, especially because you will not have to spend as much on a vehicle that looks like a Wrangler. Maybe you don't have to spend Wrangler money on a vehicle, but you can get something that looks like that and is probably as capable as well. I don't know in terms of capability, off-road capability. We've not done a comparison, so we cannot comment.
Yeah, we cannot comment on that. But from what I've been reading online, this it's extremely capable off-road, and I think that's because the Thar is currently only produced in two-door form.
two-door form, right?
Like even this is two-door. I mean, you saw how interesting it was, right? How we access the rear seats.
Oh yeah. I think we can show our viewers how we did that as well.
From the rear canvas.
Yes.
And that's an important point that Sheran also told us, that this vehicle is not truly secure in the sense, like, it's not. I mean, you can just unzip that canvas.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Let's not give anyone ideas now, Ashraf.
Yeah, but there's a nice flip side to it as well.
Yes.
You can totally take off the top canvas roof and have an open air experience.
Oh wow, yes, we should try that next time.
Yeah, because Sheran has told us that he's got a few interesting upgrades lined up to make this vehicle even more special. Now, the previous upgrades we spoke of were mainly for in-cabin amenities and creature comforts, but what Sheran is talking about is more off-road performance and dynamics-based upgrades.
Understood. So, Ashraf, what do you think about any modification ideas for this vehicle? Now, if I was the owner of this vehicle, maybe I'll get some fog lights on there, heavy duty bumpers, a lift, mud tires with some steel rims. How do you think that will pan out, Ashok? I mean, it's going to probably look really, really good.
It is.
Or rather, even better than it looks.
I'm sure it will. And in India, there are so many third parties who offer all these modifications for the Thar that, I mean, they do what they do with the Thar over there. The sky really is the limit, Mahina. All these things you've just mentioned.
Yes.
I've seen pictures of Indian Thars with all those modifications.
Yes.
But the fact is, even without any modifications, the vehicle is still fairly well equipped and purposeful. I think that's the beauty of this. And well, you drove it and you said you had a smile on your face. I saw the smile on your face.
Yes.
Do you think you could drive this as your daily?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I can easily replace this with the Quid. Or rather, I can replace the Quid with this.
But not the Verada.
Not the Verada, but again, I hope my Quid didn't hear that. It's parked right here, and I highly doubt I will sell the Quid as well, Ashrak. It's been a very good friend to me.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we've had a great time with this. So once again, let's give a huge thank you to Sheran.
Definitely, and we're super excited to also be able to review his full collection. So maybe in the next few videos you can see much more interesting vehicles coming in.
Yeah, I mean, let's not reveal too much, but let's just say that there is a V8 powered 4-door sedan that is also one of a kind in Sri Lanka.
I almost said the name.
You almost said it, didn't you?
Okay. I'm super excited.
Then there's an Italian 2-door Grand Tourer.
Yeah.
Another lovely car. And he has quite a few classics too.
Another 2-door SUV, a classic.
Indeed, a very classic SUV, also dating back from the 40s.
Yes.
I think people can guess what that is now.
Yes.
And if they know Sheran, they obviously know what it is. So.
For sure. But yeah, it was a lovely day at the port city as well, Ashrak. I mean, we drove the car to our heart's content, and I saw the smile on your face as well. We passed the ITC Ratnadeepa, which was opened very recently. We parked and took some shots, and we can show you that as well. So we drove down Galle-Face Green, went to Port City. That is our usual spot, Ashrak, in the mornings, I guess.
Yeah, it is, because otherwise it becomes full of traffic. And that's another interesting point that we are led into, Mahin, that this vehicle looks equally at home in front of a posh hotel as it does on a off-road or dirt track area.
Agreed. And like you said, for someone of Sheran's stature to be able to kind of buy one of these and enjoy these and use it as a daily, I think it speaks volumes about this vehicle and its capabilities.
It does. I mean, it may not be the prettiest looker or the most quiet or the most refined or, like comfortable in the S-Class or whatever, but I mean, it also does everything you need it to do.
For what it is, right?
For what it is. And it has reasonable levels of comfort, driving, dynamics, power, capability.
Yes.
It's basically, it's no nonsense, but it's also not Spartan.
Yes. And I think this sentiment about Indian cars not being up to mark, Ashrak, I think that is something that all our viewers should kind of reconsider and, make a sound judgment based on the facts and figures.
That is true. Next time, don't judge a car from where it's from, but rather on its merits, on what it can offer for you.
Correct.
Because I can name Japanese cars that are utterly useless. We can also name British cars that are absolutely fantastic. So it goes to show that the ethnicity of a car doesn't make it what it is.
Definitely.
At least not in 2024 or even 2014 for that matter anymore. If we're talking about the 1980s, then possibly, but we are not in the 1980s anymore.
Correct.
So it's been a blast, hasn't it,
It's
Mahin?
been an absolute blast. Awesome.
So thank you, Sharan, for that. And
Thank
we hope you like this video, and please don't forget to subscribe. We really appreciate your support, our loyal viewers. And it really makes Mahin and I happy when we see more subscriptions and all
Yes.
your comments.
For sure.
And a final note, if you've got a car you want featured, do let us know.
Of course. See you guys. Have a good one. Oh, hello there, Ashrak.
So as you can see, Mahin, 4 people can sit here, 2. Quite comfortable these upholstered leather bench seats are. Only thing is headroom is a little low. I mean, you can have a look here, my hair is brushing the canvas.
Yes.
And if I tell you, well, I can't sit up fully. I'm going to become part of the structure of the vehicle if I do that. But yeah, for occasional use, I suppose these seats are fine. And you've got a step over here to help you get out of the vehicle as well. And you can see that it's a half tailgate, which also hosts the rather chunky spare tire, which is the same as the other 4 chunky wheels that this thing rides on. Beautiful. So basically, you've got a tailgate to close there, and then the upper portion is canvas. You put the canvas down there, and you've got zip on either side.
Brilliant.
So we do it.
So, Ashrak, did you enjoy the drive up and down Golf's Green?
Yes, I did actually. I was able to take it up to 80 kilometers per hour, which I think is the most comfortable, safe speed for this vehicle. I didn't
Yes.
want to go any further.
Yes.
But it's even at 80 kilometers per hour, it felt very planted,
Is it?
very stable,
Right.
and quite controllable as well.
Right.
So I think for this kind of vehicle, 80 kilometers per hour is the comfortable, safe speed.
Right.
After all, it's not a high-strung sports car, low-slung sedan, so it's
Agreed.
it accordingly, but it is, which is a very tough, very capable off-road.
Agreed. We're now entering the fourth city, Colombo. So let's see if we can enter without a problem.